Among the many choices offered to visitors by the Valle d'Aosta, there are two exceptionally beautiful planned excursions: High Road 1 and High Road 2. These two itineraries include 5 giants of the alpine range: Mont Blanc, Monte Cervino, Monte Rosa, the Gran Paradiso, and the Gran Comben. The Tour des Géants, the Giants Tour, developed from the idea of joining 2 separate tracks to form a ring that allows hikers to follow the entire perimeter of the regional territory. The tour has no obligatory stopping points, but gives the athletes the freedom to rest at whichever spot they choose, when they feel like it. It's a breathtaking emotional adventure round the highest mountains in Europe, through 2 nature reserves covering 25 hills over 2,000 meters in height and passing through 34 local townships. Stunning views in every direction of lakes, forests, pastures, peaks, refuge lodges and incredible vistas, one after another, surprise and delight everyone who participates in the experience. The trailers, moving along the 330-kilometer course with a total of 24,000 meters of inclinations, are supported by 1,200 volunteer personnel, lending their invaluable services at 43 strategically placed emergency stations and 7 first aid posts along the way. The pre-race formalities include the distribution of identification numbers and bracelets with microchips, which are clocked at checkpoints along the way. Backpacks containing changes of clothing follow each contestant to the 7 way stations. A plate of pasta enjoyed together at the technical briefing the night before sets the tone of the following day's event. 10 a.m. on the great day. In the central square of Courmayeur, at the foot of Mont Blanc, the athletes readied themselves for the challenge. The trailers of the Tour des Géants race include athletes from 16 different countries. Once they leave the tarmac road, they track along a path leading up to High Road 2 and the first of the many hills along the route. When they reach Champorcher, the last ascending path of High Road 2 takes them to the central valley. The trailers pass through the villages of Ans, Bar, and Donas, where they rest at the way station, which is the halfway point. This is where High Road 1 begins. It's a tough climb even for those athletes who have the strength to continue. A good 53 kilometers with maximum levels of 4,500 meters separates Donas from Gressoney-Saint-Jean, where they can rest and refresh themselves again. When they reach the hill of Malatra, their spirits return, giving them the extra energy needed. All that remains now is the descent that will take them to the Bonatti and Bertoni refuge stations before the triumphal return to Courmayeur. After 3 days and 8 hours since the start of the competition, the first athletes arrive at the finish line. Ulrich Gross, a contender from Merano, is the winner of the first edition of the Tour des Géants race. Although he hasn't had much sleep, Ulrich's adrenaline is still running high, and he finds it really hard to relax, perhaps because his sister, Anne-Marie Gross, is about to cross the finish line herself, in first female place and in fourth place absolute. While the first group of athletes has already finished the race, the arduous struggle continues for many of them. Although exhaustion has forced a few to give up, there remains for them the great satisfaction of knowing that they tried and have enjoyed an adventure in the glorious setting that Valle d'Aosta provides. The last trailers struggle in after 6 days of competition. Their race finally ends as the crowd closes in warmly around them. To complete the course is a victory in itself. It has been an extraordinary event. The first edition of the longest and toughest endurance trail in the world, which has ignited the enthusiasm of athletes, organizers, and volunteers alike, with its magnificent, unforgettably spectacular scenery. The participants are all anxious to try again in the next edition, hoping to improve their performances. But High Road 1 and High Road 2 can be taken at a slower pace, breaking the trip into several easier stops of 3 or 4 hours each at refuges or way stations where hikers can rest in comfort, enjoy the delicious variety of the local cuisine, and admire the glorious views of the Aosta Valley.